Hello everyone. Welcome to the Cast on the Fly. We want to take a moment to talk a little bit about, well, specifically speaking to someone who's stopping smoking weed. As someone who used to smoke for years, almost every single day, and knowing how it talks to you. It talks to you. It talks to you as if you need it. It's a depressant, by the way. And so in this world that's already very low level energy, it soothes the lowness that you already feel, but it actually makes you feel lower than you are. Somebody who's done it for a long time will probably have shakes. But you can move through it by turning yourself inside out. My recommendation is you stay away from your family. Because you're likely a smoker who's connected with people from the other side and energies you didn't really understand. And those people are going to be calling you to smoke. And so it'll feel painful. But that's why you have to stay athletic and busy. So things like basketball, writing, walking, art, things that you wouldn't normally do. And spend, I would say at least 30 days to 90 days focused on yourself. And people around you are not gonna like that. They're not gonna like it. And so what they'll do is they'll try to say, come on, dude, just smoke a little, and then you'll get back into the cycle and the circle of starting again. You're not gonna be clear-headed because it's like, you've always been kind of in chill darkness, so you probably may have some outbursts of energy, of bad emotions, because now you're starting to feel again, because you've been numb for a very long time, and that has worked for you for a long time. However, now you're going to be feeling things that you don't really like. It might be things that you've done, might be things that you see in others, so your relationships are going to shift and change. But you want to really, honestly, this is the real deal about someone who's struggling with addiction. You need to pay attention to yourself. And everyone's going to tell you to pay attention to them, especially since you were coddling and catering to them throughout your existence, of trying to make sure that they were okay. That means you can't go to parties and you can't hang out with people who smoke. And it's not recommended for you to drink, because drinking brings smoking. And you're gonna be really pissed off all the time, at least for 90 days. I wouldn't recommend getting a coach. If you've honestly made a real decision to stop doing something, those things that I just told you are going to, it's willpower. It's not anything more than willpower. It's like a person who's on a diet who can't stay off of sugar. It's the same thing. Except you may have some body aches and pains in the body. But I also want to tell you that fitness is an example of the pain. So actually, I want to say yoga practice. A yoga practice is an example of the pain. So holding a yoga practice and not caving into your wanting to run away from a yoga practice is the same thing as not going back to smoking or drinking. So really what a person who's an addict is dealing with is battles with demons and battles with themselves. It's willpower. And then if you can figure out that experience of the willpower, then you can move yourself into a space more of evolving your evolution into something more like, let me think. Let me see how I can put this here. Uplifting yourself. It's like taking the energy of what is a down low energy and then reconfiguring it into figuring out how to uplift yourself. But it's moving through something. Not buying something, not going somewhere, not someone else. It's all internal. It's going to God, but figuring out if that's really God. See, that's the hard part at this time, is figuring out if it's God or if it's just somebody pretending to be God. So it's self-awareness and knowing what God represents and knowing what is right and wrong, and knowing that God would not want you to, if you're a good person, you're through and through know that you're a good person. Even if you've done bad things, you know you're a good person. And you don't want to have anybody's validation. You don't get enjoyment out of other people's pain. You're not trying to get something in money or greed or the 7 deadly sins. If you look at 7 deadly sins and you feel those things, because it's the first stage of an addict to evolve themselves, is the acceptance of knowing that like coming out of denial. And then being very, very aware that you were doing those things, but in authenticity. See, a lot of people know how to fake it. A lot of people know how to fake it. So this is not just, hey guys, I'm taking a break, I'm going to spend my time with family. Oh, hell no. You know what, lady? I don't have children. You've kind of drove me to drink and smoke every day. I'm taking 3 months away from you, and I'm going to a location far away where I'm going to spend 3 months doing what I want to do, reading books, staying in my zone and really feeling strength, whether it's in fitness. You could do basketball, but you'd have to have people around you, and it's based on the energy of the people you're associating with. You might want to think that you want to be with new people who are up to the same thing that you're up to. Meaning you don't want to be with somebody who's in the middle of a spy situation. As wonderful as you might think he might be, that energy is going to rub off on you. And if you're trying to beat an addiction, then it's going to weaken you to want to, because that person weakens people. She does it for enjoyment. She'll even pretend like she's a good person. I'll help you. I'll teach you eat clean. You're probably going to want to eat a lot of food and sweets. That's the other thing you have to be careful of. You need to have a regimented nutritional plan, and you need to have, this is like work. You need a nutritional plan, water intake. It's not really as hard as it sounds. I mean, it is kind of hard, but it's not really that hard. You need your time occupied. You need something that's going to another thing that would be really cool is if you told yourself, this is something that was actually really good. This is really good. If you told yourself that at the end of you can do it too. At the end of 3 months that you wanted to walk/run a marathon and focus all of your energy on running that marathon. And then you would plot out and plan out your schedule. And you got interested in something different. That's not normally what you would do. And then all of a sudden your attention goes on to a marathon runners, because those people are pretty intense. Those people are really intense. So you got to be careful with that too. And then you actually signed up for one. And then that would be your coming out for your publicity or your relevance or whatever the hell you're doing. And then in the meantime, you could be writing raps. You could be, you'll see, like if you really followed the easy steps that I just told you, come out of denial, stay away from other people like your family. You could even go and find new people to introduce yourself to. However, you wouldn't trust any of them, but it would be lessons and learning tools. And then you'd literally blow them off. You'd be like, no thanks. And it wouldn't be such a deadly punch if it's someone close to you. You'd be spending time writing. You'd even schedule yourself for all these things. Swim time. I know it sounds really crazy and kind of cheesy, but like if you are a calendar person, and then you're probably going to have emotional breakdowns, and then you have to forgive yourself for whatever it is for yourself. Nobody else you're forgiving. Okay, so those few things. Finding your passion in fitness, boxing, running, basketball, lifting. I would try to stay away from certain music and movies. Actually, I would kind of turn off music and movies. At least I would go to older specific stuff, I would say, because I wouldn't go into music that I would listen to while I smoked. Because it'll remind you that you want to go smoke again. So those kinds of things will help you transverse yourself into a form of freedom. And then eventually it'll be right in front of you and you'll have the urge. People are always in denial. But that's not really, let me see. But that's the willpower. You're always going to be there. But then at that moment, you find what's more of a priority. Yourself or getting high and chilling. And you'll actually find that your raps get a lot better. And then things that were hidden to you before, even when you were smoking, it comes to light. You're like, oh shit, that's what was actually going on. Oh my God, I cannot believe I fell for that. Well, yeah, because you were stoned. And you just didn't give a shit. Because that's really what weed does to people is, yeah, it can be an art thing. It can take you to weird places. It opens doors to real weird shit. However, you just don't give a shit. Imagine if you actually, as much as you never gave a shit, actually started to give a shit. It's like you almost come to life. And then there's a lot more problems that come along with that. But it's also the really cool part about life is that you evolutionize yourself into growth as a human being. And then you fall off the wagon, then you get back on, then you fall off the wagon, then you get back on. And it's like this long life journey. So whatever it is for people, sometimes it's even an emotion that people are addicted to. So that's kind of the same thing with alcohol and drugs. Everybody's addicted to something. It's where you focus your energy. I, for years, was addicted to fitness thoughts. I actually don't mind fitness thoughts. I like having addictions to fitness because I think fitness is good. I think fitness is good for you, but is too much fitness good for you? Exactly. So it's like finding the balance. Anywho, that's just a little bit of a tidbit I wanted to spread it, the nerds in the news of different cartoons. Reliving your childhood. Thundercats and He-Man in Disney movies. Although not the new Disney, old Disney. And not on the Disney Channel, but if you could buy the DVD or the tape, it would be better because the new ones have subliminals in them. That's why you shouldn't be watching. So old movies without in a DVD would be okay. Some of them. This is the hard part is like some of them. Because even the old ones, some of them, for some reason, still had subliminals. It's really strange. Anywho, it's a long story. It's a long conversation, but that's just a 15-minute little evaluation on someone who's looking to stop doing an addictive behavior, such as smoking weed or even drinking too much. So, anywho, thank you for watching.